$600 plus mileage to lease a run-of-the-mill car that's 8 years old. Tonight, the investigators uncover outrageous details on how one city is wasting your tax dollars. Good evening. I'm Diana Lewis.
And I'm Stephen Clark. We're not talking about a Ferrari here. No, we're talking about a 2004 Dodge Intrepid, and it's a financially strapped city that can least afford it.
7 Action News investigator Scott Lewis learned of the lease car fiasco after he got a little tip from police. Scott, how is that money being misused?
Well, we're talking about millions of dollars, Diana. Not one car, but over 100 on the road with leases that have been expired for as long as 6 years. Yet they're still paying full lease payments. They're liable for over-mileage penalties and excess wear and tear. Even worse, they're stuck with these cars now and looking for a way out. When you think of a police car, you probably think of a car that looks like this. But there are a lot of police cars on the road that look just like the ones you and I drive. Cops use them for undercover work, UC cars and police lingo. But as you're about to hear from one expert, what Detroit is paying to lease some of these UC cars is way out of line. What would you think if you saw a deal like this in the want ads? For lease, a 2004 Dodge Intrepid, just $608 a month plus 15 cents per mile. You pay for maintenance. What? That's crazy. Who would ever pay $600 a month to lease an 8-year-old car, plus mileage and maintenance? Answer, the Detroit Police Department. Here's the contract. A 2-year lease with Trader Ray Leasing in Detroit. The deal was signed in September of '03, but the car didn't go back when it expired in '05. It's still on the road, and the city is still making a $608 a month payment for an 8-year-old car. But wait, there's more. Action News obtained this whole stack of expired city car leases, more than 100 identical 2-year contracts on '04 through '07 models. All of them expired and still on the road. The city is still making full payments ranging from $400 to $600 a month to Trader Ray Leasing.
It seems very, very hard to believe.
Hard to believe, says Alan Reinstein, the George Husband Professor of Accounting at Wayne State University. But if true, he says, a huge waste of tax money. We asked Professor Reinstein to go through the stack of leases and give us a ballpark on how much the city has wasted.
The difference between buying a car and leasing a car for 110 cars is over $4 million.
So they could have saved $4 million just buying them up front.
Right. Or leasing them for 2 years, returning them and getting new cars. At least they'd be driving, newer cars.
Let's do the math on that 8-year-old Intrepid. $608 for 93 months is over $56,000. Being conservative, if the car has 100,000 miles on it at 15 cents a mile, that's another $9 grand. Now you're up to $65,000 for the car, and you don't even own it. Plus, the city's been paying for maintenance all these years. And when the cars are turned in, Detroit taxpayers are on the hook for any excess wear and tear.
I think mismanaged is probably the wrong word. This is malfeasance. It makes no sense to me.
Joe Duncan is president of the Detroit Police Officers Association. He says this kind of waste is especially troubling, given the sacrifices his members have made.
It's appalling. It's an affront to the men and women that go out every day. They haven't had a raise since 2008. They made historical concessions on their pension, and now the city wants to take a 10% pay cut again.
Even from a policing standpoint, Duncan says keeping undercover cars this long makes no sense.
I mean, the advantage of having a UC car is that you flip the car around, so you don't have the same car.
So how in the world did this happen? Why has the city left these cars on the road so long after their leases expired?
I don't want to attribute to why it happened. I just know the dollar effects are very large, and I see really no upside. Maybe someone didn't realize what was going on, but it does not make any sense to me.
The folks at Trader Ray wouldn't go on camera, but in a phone interview, they pretty much chalked it up to city mismanagement. We've extended them a courtesy by not calling the cars back in, the company's administrative manager told Action News. No one is holding a gun to their heads. They could turn the cars in tomorrow, he said. This kind of reflects on their inability to get things done for themselves. Commander John Serta is new to the department's Management Services Bureau, and he's inherited the lease problem. He can't fully explain how it happened because he wasn't there.
On the surface, I'm sure it doesn't make sense even to me, but when you look at it closely, there are a lot of factors involved, and it's a very complicated process.
Would it be fair to say, though, that someone was asleep at the switch, letting these cars stay out there this long?
I can't say that. I don't.
You don't think so?
That happened before my time in this bureau.
But the head of the police union thinks someone needs to take a hard look at how and why this happened.
Somebody needs to be held accountable for it.
For now, the city is stuck with these high payments for old cars. They tried to replace the fleet through Trader Ray, but because Detroit is teetering on the brink, no one is willing to finance the deal without some big upfront cash, which the city doesn't have. They're looking for a creative way out, and they're reevaluating how many of these cars are really needed. In the meantime, Detroit taxpayers continue to bleed.
Now, Scott, you got a call from Chief Ralph Godbey after he saw the promotion for the story. What did he have to say?
Well, he wanted to stress that this happened before he got into office. And he also said this is not all general fund money. Some of it is narcotics forfeiture, some of it is grant money, but it's still tax money. And we still don't have a good answer for who was supposed to be watching this, how it happened, and why.
Sounds like a lot of buck passing right now.
A little bit, yeah.
All right, Scott. We know you'll keep on it, though, and we're going to get some answers. All right, thanks.